still forgot to use your commercials.
It's okay.
And we are back on Talking Hogs Live by Rehab Sports Guys, and we have our producer man in the studio for a few minutes. What's up, producer man?
Not much. Just got off working at 12. Just thought I'd step in and give my 2 cents before I go to bed. Yeah, I'm going to bed at 11 o'clock in the morning.
This man works graveyard, so got to cut him a little bit of slack here.
I've worked overnight before, yeah. I slept a lot.
Yeah, that'd probably be a better thing for me, but hey. So, up on the slate for the Hogs this week, North Texas, what are we thinking?
It's only a 7-point spread. So, Vegas saw what we did last week. I'm surprised we're even favored by a touchdown, to be honest with you. Because I think North Texas is better than Colorado State as a team.
I think they have I would say their quarterbacks are pretty close to the same level anyway.
Yeah, if we're... And it all comes down to one thing. Our defense plays pretty decent, pretty good. Our running game was really good. It just comes down to quarterback play, and I've said that all summer. It comes down to quarterback play.
Oh, it absolutely does.
And it didn't matter what coach you brought in, offense, whatever. It was going to come down to quarterback play.
Yeah, and two, it's like I was saying in the last segment too. If your defense has to be out there too much, you're just going to be in a bad position. And then Mason Fine, their quarterback, is a good quarterback.
Yes, and like I said, that all bull turns right back around into quarterback play. You can only run the ball down somebody's throat so much before they finally are like, you know what, we're going to put 8 people in the box and make you throw it.
Right.
And like you were saying, when you have a Cole Kelly that was decent, but he was, you said 6 for 9 for 102. He was really 5 for 8 for 40 yards. And 30 of that came on one play.
Yeah.
So really he wasn't that good. He had 2 good throws. One was just a little bit out of bounds. The other one was a touchdown. And then the little 2 yards, not even 2 yard shovel.
It was a shovel pass. It's basically a run.
It was a handoff. And I hate that. That is a running play. Should be rushing yards. So we really ran for 364 yards and passed for 96.
Yeah.
That's not going to get it done.
No, it's not.
No. But I knew this team wasn't going to be good this year. So.
But like you said, I even went back and listened to our interview. We interviewed Peter Burns from SC Network. And he was telling us, and we even said to him, we were like, we're looking at about 5 wins. He said, yeah, Arkansas is not going to be very good this year. Will they be good next year? Maybe, but year 3 is where you start judging. All right, let's go back and look at Bielema. What did he win the first year? He went 4-8 and then 0-8 in conference, right?
Yes.
Okay, second year. 6 wins before the bowl game, correct?
Yeah, and he won like 2 SEC games.
He won 2 SEC games. All right, year 3.
That was the year we went to the Texas Bowl, wasn't it?
Yes. Year 3 wins 8 games and 5 games in conference. And then you found out he couldn't recruit. Or couldn't sustain recruiting. Wisconsin, he could because he could put the name out there. Arkansas, you can't just sit on your name. You got to get your... Well, guess what Coach Morris is doing? He's recruiting. He is a recruiting coach, just like Peter Burns said. He is a recruiting coach that you have to give a chance to get players. Was there some coaching mistakes in the game? Absolutely.
And the thing that I like, too, is the fact that the type of players that we're recruiting are the ones that aren't just going to give up on us because we have one bad game.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you've seen Adonis Ote's
yes, I did.
tweet that he had, because there was a guy that was tweeting
Colorado
him, trying
State
to get
commit.
him talking crap, trying to get him to flip, and he's like, yeah, that was just a fluke. So that tells me that the type of guys he have aren't just going to say, man, F this, we're not going to stay for this coach that can't beat Colorado State. Like, that shows me that they look at it as they need me. Like, they need me here to be better.
They're going to Arkansas for not one reason. one of the main reasons. They know they're going to play right away.
Yeah.
I mean, KJ Jefferson knows he's probably going to start next year.
At some point, yeah. I mean, I think he'll get some.
He's going to have a chance. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, he'll get a chance for sure.
So people like that are like, all right, I'm going to get to play. Who's another? And all the receivers we're putting in, they all know they're going to have it. They all know they're going to have a chance to play.
Oh, all the receivers next year are definitely going to play.
So that's what he has going for him. They're like, oh, we're going to lose all these recruits. No. Because it's making them know, hey, we got to get on campus.
Mm-hmm.
We got to get on campus. Same with all defensive line. Well, guess what? All our defensive line, Ramsey's at least a sophomore or junior. Sosa's leaving after this year. I don't care what anybody else says. He's going to the NFL.
He's gone.
Greenlaw's going to be gone.
The defense is what's going to hurt the most because we're going to lose Pulley, we're going to lose Santos, we're going to lose Akeem, Dre.
Yeah, we're going to have to rebuild the whole defense outside of maybe Cameron Curl, Grant Morgan, Hayden Henry. Outside of those guys, your defense is kind of old.
Callaway will still be here.
Yeah, but I'm just saying your core, your defense is either juniors or seniors, and that's not good for a rebuild. That's not good for a rebuild.
No, it's not good. But I mean, sometimes you just have to work. As bad as it is, sometimes you just gotta work with the hand that you're dealt. I mean, would you say that? Who do you think had the better, just in your opinion, who had the better situation coming in? Do you think between Petrino after Nutt, Bielema after all that happening, or Chad Morris after all that happening?
I think Petrino had the best situation.
I would have to agree because you got to look at what was before. Yeah, Nutt left, but think about
what was Nutt's record that last year? It was like 8-4.
Yeah, think about the people are like, oh, but Petrino this, Petrino. Oh, think about it. Think about where the view of our program nationally was.
And I think he won 6 games his first year, didn't he, Petrino?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
No,
he won 5. He went 5 and 7. He went 5. No, he went 5 and 7. He went 5 and 7. He went 5 and 7.
Okay.
And you got to remember, people were trying to fire him because they were so used to winning. And then he wins 5 games. Everybody's like, oh, let's get rid of him. Well, guess what now? Everybody's like, oh, we shouldn't have fired him for his moral.
And the thing is, he only had 2 years. That's the thing.
You're trying to build a program of good young men. You can't have your coach out here hiring a mistress.
The problem is too many fans of all sports, including the Razorbacks, are a prisoner of the moment.
Yes.
So they're like, oh my gosh, the program now. I wish we had Petrino back. And it's like, well, go back and look. They don't. And a lot of these fans didn't comprehensively watch Petrino. And this is not a knock. I'm not dogging Petrino here, even though I love to do that. But that's not part of this conversation. We never got to see how good Petrino really was or wasn't because he never stays anywhere long enough. See, that's the problem with a coach like Petrino. He's great if you want to bring him in and get you wins soon because he will do that. And he will have an awesome offense. But in college, it's like in the NFL when you have teams that keep firing their coaches. They don't know who they are. Like organizations like the Steelers, there's stability there. Organizations like Alabama, listen, Saban's there 10 years. And Les Miles there 10 years. Houston Nutt was at Arkansas for 10 years. And now it's like 4, 5, new coach, not counting the John L. Smith year. So now, what is the program? It's when you go to Wisconsin, you know exactly when you're an athlete and you step on campus at Wisconsin, you know what kind of offense they're going to run. You know that they're going to put their hat on running the ball on defense.
Mm-hmm.
Not that they can't throw the ball. When you come to Arkansas, it's like, man, I might be here and the coach might get fired, and that's why Mallett didn't come.
Here's the
because
thing.
Listen, Mallett didn't come and went to Michigan because Houston Nutt was a run first. Not that he didn't. There was no one there to coach up Ryan Mallett. As soon as we got Petrino, Mallett was like, oh no. And the other reason he left was because he was going to play for Rich Rod. And then they were bringing in Brady Hoke, he was just like, okay, the same reason I didn't go to Arkansas is the same reason I'm leaving Michigan. I'm not trying to hand the ball off my whole time here. And so what my bigger point is, you got to keep a coach long enough to establish what your program is going to be instead of flipping system to system every 4 years.
Oh, I absolutely agree.
We did that in basketball. We had the up-tempo with Nolan, and then we got Stan Heath, and he was like, literally walked the ball up almost to the point of having a violation every time and playing inside. Then we got Pelfrey, who I don't know what his system was. And then now we got Anderson, and he's back to the run and gun. So if you want to get rid of him, that's fine. You should probably get a coach that is similar in style and just maybe a better fit. Better coach, right?
Right.
Not the Mike
That
Anderson
makes
thing.
sense.
So that's the only reason I'm not hard on Chad, because we don't have the quarterbacks on campus. We've said this all. I've heard it said multiple times on the show. We don't have the quarterbacks we need to run this offense. I just wish that by SEC play, you're going to have to stick with one. Now, it doesn't mean the other guy can't play. It's just, it's like Alabama's doing. We pretty much see that Tua's the guy, but Hurts is going to be put in for packages. I'm okay with that. Hurts may not be, but because of how far along he is in his career and eligibility, and he has a red shirt left, blah, 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 blah. Like, for his future, and I get that in college. And I was telling him earlier, like, Ty Story doesn't want to be sitting there in week 8, like, oh, if I have a bad 2 quarters, because we don't know. Now, I didn't watch the game, and maybe Ty was just not going to be good at all that game. And you have to be willing to make a quarterback switch, but at some point, you don't want your starter in there. It's like, man, if I have like a bad quarter, I'm getting pulled.
Yeah, you can't have a quarterback in the back. He should be thinking about what the defense is doing, what his offensive line should be doing. Not, man, if I don't make this throw, I'm going to get pulled.
And you're right. And let me be clear. I'm not babying these quarterbacks. I'm just saying, as a person who's played sports, I played on an intramural team one time, and I played the first game. I had like 10, 12 points. Right. The next game, I didn't play. And I'm in college. Like, I could be doing homework right now, sitting on the bench, and I got upset. They're like, "Wow, this is intramurals," and I'm like, "I don't have time for this." Like, I was on that team to play 15 minutes a game off the bench. That was fine. I will start you. I don't care about starting. Just don't waste my time. I don't want to look over my shoulder. It's like, oh, if I throw a bad pass, I'm going to come out the game.
Yeah.
Like, so I get it from a coaching standpoint. Listen, if you're 5 of 13, we got to go in a new direction.
Well, it's two of those 8 incompletions were interceptions.
Right. So, and I get the circumstances and why each time he did it, but I just don't want that to be a season-long pattern. Because then it's like, you don't have a quarterback, then you have 2 dudes that are just that are doing different things, and neither one of them build any confidence.
But the thing about the first game, and you had made a comment, he pulled him earlier in the first game. That was because it was a scheduled pull.
Right.
He said after the 3rd series, he's going to put Ty Story in. He's going to get 3 series. And then whoever had the most rhythm, he was just going to stick with it. And Ty kind of had a rhythm and stuck with him. Now, granted, the defense they were playing against was terrible. So,
right.
And that's what I was trying to tell him is you saw the step up in competition, and I don't think they were ready for it. And you saw a quarterback that hadn't had a lot of experience. And then Cole Kelly comes in, and he's played against the Alabamas, the Auburns. I don't think he's played against A&M, but anyway, what I'm trying to get at is he's seen it,
right?
And so he was kind of more composed. And Ty Story, I think after he threw that first interception, everything went downhill from there. Because wasn't in that first interception early, because it was thrown before I could even get the TV on.
And the bad part about it was that first interception wasn't necessarily all on him, because that wasn't even on anybody really. It was just a case of misfortune, because the receiver slipped and fell on it. I mean, yeah, he kind of might have threw it behind him a little bit, but it could have been caught.
But when you're in a situation where you're still in a competition with another quarterback, and you throw a pick, no matter if it's your fault or not, it's already in your brain like, crap, I can't make another mistake.
I was just trying to say I wasn't like going to blame him for the first one.
But either way, with the situation you have, like you said, you're thinking about something you shouldn't be thinking about. Like, he should just go in. I think we can say Ty Story all we want, but going into SEC play, I feel way more confident mentality-wise and who the team trusts, and I believe Cole Kelly will give us a better chance to win games if he stays in the pocket and doesn't decide to try and be Aaron Rodgers. We could win games, or give us a chance to win games, because you saw on those deep routes, if you can get your bigger receivers downfield, they can make plays. I mean, Chase Harold had a drop that if he catches that, it's another first down. Just small things like that. I think that Cole has people's trust and respect more than Ty does, because he started for him before. And that goes a long way, in my opinion.
experience that, especially when we get to conference, experience is going to do a heck of a lot of good for guys like Cole Kelly because he's been in that. I mean, he's played these conference games, so he knows a little bit of what to expect as far as intensity level goes. Ty's going in clueless to that situation.
And we saw what happened. If he gets happy feet and scared going to Colorado, what's going to happen when you go to Auburn, Alabama, and have to play Auburn on the road in the SEC West?
And that is
on a national televised game.
See, and this is the one. That's the one leg up I give Cole Kelly is because he's been there before. He's done it. That's the only. There's two reasons I give it to Cole. One, he has the bigger arm, and two, he's had the experience. I just worry with him because of system fit. And I worry with him because he doesn't have the mobility to get himself out of trouble once he is swarmed under. He doesn't have that move where he can stick his foot in the ground and then like whirl away from the defenders and then get a pass off. Like when he gets swarmed under, he's done. Like he's not going.
But let's not act like Ty Story's out here running a 4-4.
Oh no, I'm just saying. But he can, like, just to take an example of what I'm talking about, like. Not even trying to get off topic here and go to the NFL or anything, but I was watching the 49er game yesterday, and you've seen plays where Garoppolo would just like stick his foot in the ground, spin around and turn the other way on a scramble, not really quarterback run scramble, but like just scramble out of the pocket and boom, be able to put one on the pocket, right on the dime. You didn't see that. You don't really see that with Cole Kelly. You see him just sticking in the pocket and being able to absorb the hit, but he's not able to just scramble away and get it.
But one thing you say is scrambling. One thing I did notice, the receivers did not help out their quarterback one bit.
No.
If you watched any of that, they do what they call scramble drills, where if your quarterback gets out of the pocket, you just do whatever you... Basically like backyard football.
What the Steelers do.
Yeah, exactly.
I hate to bring up my Steelers, but literally that's what they did with Hines Ward. So when that happens, what you're talking about is the receivers know when they see that quarterback out of the pocket, screw the route you were on.
Yeah, just get open.
Yeah.
It's backyard football at that point, and nobody was doing that.
Yeah.
And so, like Ty Story or even Cole Kelly get out of the pocket and they'd stand there like, what do you want me to do? I'm not running. Nobody's open. I'm just going to throw it away. So that what kills you. And I'll tell you one narrative fans are pushing. Why did we quit running the ball? We had 26 plays on offense in the second half. You know how many running plays we had?
How many?
17. You know how many passing plays we had? 9. So you still ran the ball twice as many times as you passed it. What do you mean we stopped running the ball? They're like, we ran it 39 times in the first half. Well, guess what? You had like 60-something plays in the first half, too.
The thing is, I'll laugh about that, too, because what was the one thing people would always say coming into this year about the offense? Man, I'm glad that we're not having to run the ball every play. Now what are they? Well, now look at what they're complaining about. We're not running it enough. Like, come on, people. You got it. You can't have it both ways. Either it's going to be one way or it's going to be the other. You can't have your cake and eat it too.
But we do know that.
Boy, if you use one more cliche on this show, I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm gonna write these down the next time because you use like I'm giving you a hard time, by the way. This dude has used like 17. Like that's just the way it is. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You know. Like
I'm
sometimes
old.
Sometimes
leave
it
me
is.
alone.
I'm the oldest person here. You leave me alone. Anyways, I'm sorry. That was funny. I was like, as soon as he said you can't, I'm like, he's gonna really say the cake and the pie thing. Okay. Anyways, what were you saying? I'm hungry, so I like cake and.
or interfat children.
I don't remember what I was gonna say now.
That was a skinny child, actually.
Oh, we're all three Arkansas fans. We get on social media. We're on Twitter, which you can find us at RSG_Hogs Live or at Rehab Sports Guys. But we're all fans. We go on Twitter. We read all these things. And I was pleasantly surprised how many people liked my tweet when I said, Hog fans, y'all drive me nuts or whatever. I don't remember exactly what the quote was. Basically the fact of y'all are all sipping the Kool-Aid last week, but now y'all flipped and y'all are ready to fire this man. Basically calling you a straight up hater. Like, there's fans I remember seeing in the offseason, man, I think we win 8-9 games. I'm super positive. Oh, we might not win another game. one game makes you flip from 9 wins to
Yeah,
1.
like there isn't a week that like the coaches aren't going to go there and say, "Hey, look, there's some things we need to correct." It's not like Colorado State beat us by 21 or 14 and we came back and lost late. We had a lead in the game and we just dropped it. Is it a bad sign because of what we went through under Bielema? Yes, but we keep talking about it. We do not have the depth on campus this year. When we get the depth and we get the players, listen, we had a bad second half. Like, people aren't taking any positives away from this game except for, we could run the ball. Look, we went to Colorado. None of them dudes have probably ever played an elevation before because the highest point in Arkansas is like 2,000 feet, if that.
Hey,
the highest they played is in Fayetteville, probably.
Yeah.
I mean,
You don't need, and they don't specially bring oxygen masks like they do at Mile High State. No, we don't play at Mile High. But Colorado's still a way higher elevation. Mm-hmm. On the road for the first time, in semester, they're college kids, under a new system, probably sipped the Kool-Aid a little bit from scoring 55 on a weak team. So, yeah, let's see what happens next week. I'm still optimistic, but I wasn't.
I am too.
I'm optimistic of the fact that I wasn't optimistic to begin with, and so I'm ready. I thought we would have won, but
I'm cautiously optimistic.
But before the season, me and you said 5 wins, and the toughest non-conference games were going to be at Colorado State and when North Texas comes to town. And we weren't wrong. Mm-hmm. Now, did we all get our score predictions wrong because we kind of might have sipped the Kool-Aid a little too much?
I didn't sip the Kool-Aid. I saw that Colorado State was giving up 600 yards a game. That's what I saw. That's the only reason I went so highly. I was honestly going to pick us to probably win by 2 touchdowns because I've always respected Colorado State's program. I've always just kind of like, man, they score a lot. And then I saw those 2 games, and I'm like, okay, based on what our defense did the first game and what their defense has done, we should be able to run all over these guys and pass all over them too. And we did run all over them, but the quarterbacks didn't play well. So I don't think we sipped the Kool-Aid because we said it's just one game. It's Eastern Illinois. But you're right. I think a lot of Hog fans did. I don't think we did. I think we were like, Colorado State's defense is trash. Well, they did something because they were giving up 600 yards a game. And I know that in the Wild Wild Whack by Western Athletic Conference, and then all those conferences, Mountain West out there, like they chunked the ball up and down the field.
Can I just say something though?
Yes, well, that's why you're on the show, Dave.
In regards, I didn't want to like interrupt you or anything, but in regards to like the teams that they played, the teams they played are 5-0. Hawaii's 3-0, and Colorado's 2-0. Like, it's not like they're losing the team. They got their put by teams that were like 0-3. And
right.
The teams that they played haven't been beat yet. Colorado just beat Nebraska. I mean, and another thing. Why are we treating Colorado State like they had no talent? They won like 7 or 8 games last year.
Because
we won 4 games last year.
We did the same thing when the same thing happened in Brandon Allen's last year when we played Toledo.
Yeah.
People that don't know anything about football is like, oh, Toledo's trash because they're not in the SEC. Mm-hmm. Like, now if you lose to freaking like
Louisiana Monroe, I could understand.
Yeah, but they're still in the Sun Belt. That's still a D1 school. Mm-hmm. But Arkansas has no business losing to them. But it's almost like people were arrogant enough to be like, we should beat TCU at TCU both times. And we beat them one year, lost to them the next year. Like, people don't know about these programs. They don't know what they do. Like Colorado State, oh, they're not big, they're trash. Like, well, listen, football is still played when people with pads on and throwing the ball and running the ball and like physical activity, right? So Colorado State has proven over time that they can wing that football. And
two, let's not act like they don't have talent. Like I said, because you don't just go from 7 or 8 wins in a year to being 0-2 start coming into this game because you don't have talent. Yeah, I'm sure they lost players. I'm sure they lost a lot of what they had from last year's team. So I mean, I'm not going to sit here and vouch for them because I don't know Colorado State like that. But I did do my research enough to know that they were at least a decent team last year. It's not like they were a piss poor team that couldn't beat anybody.
Right. But if you look at it on paper, last year they were 7-6, albeit the Mountain West, but we were 4-8.
Right, exactly. That's what I don't get.
Right, and
I'm glad you
7-6. Did
they won a bowl game. They went 6-6 and won a bowl game.
Oh, okay.
Or they went 7-5 and
I was still thinking
right.
11 for some reason, but anyway.
And I'm glad you brought up Toledo a minute ago. Think if they would have had Kareem Hunt playing in that game.
Oh yeah, we would have lost by like 100.
We'd have lost our.
You bring it up like all the time.
But what happened after the Toledo game? That's why I bring it up. Arkansas won like 6 games in a row, and then this. It's my point to Arkansas fans. I always bring up Toledo because no one ever talks about what happened after Toledo. Yeah. Brandon Allen got his act together and played very well for the rest of the year until the LSU game, right? Mm-hmm. And Arkansas went. That was the year that we went and played. Was that the Virginia Tech year?
Virginia Tech was the year before last, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And that was the year we lost to Toledo.
Yeah.
So we ended up going to a ball game and being up 24-0 at halftime. And we won't talk about the second half, but people just act like, oh, we lost to Toledo, the pro. Like, yeah, it's okay. It didn't derail our season. Just like this won't derail it. Now, obviously, we're not gonna. Our team doesn't have as much depth as the third year, fourth year Bielema team did, but. Yeah, I love bringing up Toledo because people were so mad after that. And I'm like, y'all act like we lost to, like, Cleveland's Youngstown State, right? And I'm not shooting a shot at Youngstown State, but they're a smaller football. Like, we lost to Villanova in football.
I mean, we could be Kansas right now, and they lost to Nicholls State.
Yeah, they're a dumpster fire.
Yeah, so
I think you make a good point, though. I think that once the run game and the pass game kind of gel and you can keep it even where you can stay on the field on offense and not have to rely so much on your defense, then we'll be better. Well, like once let the offense figure the system out and gel together in the system so we can actually do something.
But you know what terrifies me is potential recruits getting on these pages and seeing the negativity in the program and fans arguing back and forth. It's like, that's not a good look. Like, I know a lot of y'all show depth when these recruits post these top 5s and we're in them, which is great and awesome. But then also these recruits can do research like we can. All they got to do is pull up a Arkansas Razorback football tweet and go through there and be like, oh, we're trash. Oh, Cole Kelly's a piece of blah, 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 and he should never play here ever again. Coach Moore's, who's going to want to play for that?
Yeah, that's why
people. Sorry.
Oh no, I mean I'm agreeing with you. That's why I don't like. Okay, that's why I don't agree, and I get annoyed by the majority, like the crazy part of our fan base. Not people like us that, well, me and you. You know he's crazy, but because he's the villain. No, I'm just kidding. But even David's not out here like trashing the program, right? So at least in football. But yeah, I agree with you. That's a bad look for recruiting. Because people, and then most of these people like me have never played football, so when they played high school football and they were stars and their team was really good. I'm like, you're not out there playing college football, right? So yes, it's our job to critique, but when you go out there and say Cole Kelly is trash, if you go stand next to Cole Kelly and Cole Kelly will light you on fire.
Yeah,
he's just playing like there's different levels to this stuff. So I'm gonna start using cliches like David. Like, you're really good in middle school, you're really good in high school, then you get to college and you realize, hey, I wasn't from a big part of the country, so I can't play against these guys. Or you get to college and you're like, hey, I'm a superstar. Then you get to the NFL. Like, think about this. We talk about how bad Nathan Peterman is. Somewhere, at some point, Nathan Peterman was the best player on his team.
Yeah.
Or he would not have been in the NFL. Or he was the best quarterback in his city. He was probably the best quarterback in his area, maybe not state. He went to college and was good enough for the Bills to be like, hey, like, we'll pay you some money to be on our roster, right? So in college, that's why people always say Alabama could beat the Cleveland Browns. No, they couldn't, because there's one difference. Alabama may have 20, 30 guys that may ever play in the NFL on their current roster. If you know what the Cleveland Browns have? 100% of players who play in the NFL, because guess what? They're all in the NFL. So my point is, without the rambling, there's going to be guys on this college team that aren't very good. Stop trashing them. Now, they go out there and they commit a crime or do something stupid, I'm going to treat them like an adult. But
absolutely.
But it's college football. None of these guys on our offense right now, like Cole Kelly's not going to the NFL.
No.
Ty Story's not going to the NFL. Most likely, right?
Right.
None of these guys are going to play. Okay, so like Brandon Allen went to the NFL.
But to be fair, the last 2 years is when the last 2 years of your career as a college athlete are going to be what make or break most of the time what make or break your potential for the NFL. So it's all a matter, like, the biggest first jump in college is obviously from going to high school level to your first experience. But then the second biggest jump is from that experience to your third or fourth year. And you have to understand that there's going to be guys that don't make the transition from the quarterback or from the high school to college level, and they stay at that level they were at their freshman year because they just don't have the talent to match up. And then there's going to be guys that pick it up, and in their third and fourth years, like Brandon and Austin Allen did, and get themselves to a level where they can be picked up by the NFL. Not saying that they were necessarily NFL like star talent or anything, but they
worked their way up to where at least they at least got into an NFL locker room and had whatever minuscule percent they made it. They got picked up. They were on an NFL roster. They had an opportunity. But like you said, we watched Brandon Allen enough to know that, like, the reason he probably got picked up in the NFL is because he's a hard-working guy with a supremely good attitude and with great leadership skills, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why it's important in college that if you're not really that good, you can also have a trash personality, because the NFL can find lots of good dudes like McCown.
There's a reason why Brandon Allen is a backup quarterback for the Rams, and there's a reason why Austin Allen got to the NFL and then got cut and hasn't been picked up yet. Like, some guys just don't have the full range of abilities in their bag, if that makes any kind of sense. Like, I mean, I don't think, y'all know, I was tough on Brandon Allen. I was tougher on him than probably any player that's in recent history at Arkansas. But he just didn't have the full bag of qualities to be a starting quarterback. But the one thing I will give him, he was tough as hell, and he was a smart quarterback as far as the X's and O's go. And he was a good teammate. Austin was not. Austin was not a good teammate. I'm sorry. I'll go on record to say that he was not. He called out his teammates all the time. He complained all the time openly. Like, you can't do that.
But I will back him. Eventually got to a point where he got drove into the ground a lot his last year. But
don't you think part of that probably was the fact that his teammates got tired of getting blamed for everything?
No. If you can't block for someone you don't like, then you don't need to be playing football.
I think I just couldn't block.
Yeah, I think it had a lot. I mean, maybe for a small bit you might be right. Maybe it creeped in your head.
You know why? Not, you know why that's I stand against that unless you're in the NFL, because like we saw it in the longest yard. We're like, we just ain't gonna block for this dude. Like we saw it. Remember the Titans in real college football, and I'm an offensive lineman in college football. I don't care if I hate my quarterback. This is like I could get paralyzed playing this game, and the reason I went to college to play football is probably because I have some semblance of a hope that I can make money doing this. So if I don't block, that's not helping me out any.
Yeah.
Now I'm sure you have an idiot or two out there that does that, and the coaching staff watches film is like, okay, you're not playing anymore.
You can't hide from film. I can tell you right now. I've been in those film rooms. You can't hide from the camera.
Now,
we'll find you.
Will I say that if the offensive line didn't put as much effort? Like they're
Maybe.
Like, yeah, that's something different. Effort level is something you control. Flat out not doing your job, which I've done in a basketball court in a pickup game. So I was so mad at one of the dudes on my team, but you know what, the games didn't mean anything, and I'm not bragging about that. But yeah, you can do that. You can't do that in football. What is the receiver gonna just lollygag down the line and then get his head knocked off?
I'm not gonna say that every play was that way where they just gave up, but I'm just going to say that there probably were plays here and there where certain offensive linemen, I'm not going to say any names, but certain guys probably got tired of Austin getting on their ass all the time saying, oh, you aren't doing your job, do better all the time. And it's like, okay, you don't think I'm blocking? See how you like this.
No, he was leading. You eventually get to a point where it's like they got tired of losing. He gets tired of losing. I mean, I don't blame him.
Right.
I mean, now, should he have done so much of it publicly? Maybe not. But you've got to, if you can't take a quarterback telling you the truth that you aren't doing a very good job, then you don't need to be playing D1 college football.
Well, I agree. I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying that I'm sure there were cases where they didn't just completely not do their job, but it was just like if you just kind of try, but like if it doesn't happen, it's just like, okay, you don't think I'm blocking good enough? See how you like it when I don't block at all? Like,
it doesn't do him any good. I mean,
no, it
doesn't. But I will say one thing. Coach Morris just said it in his press conference that he's looking for someone to lead his team. And based on that quote, your best quarterback going forward, in my opinion,
Cole Kelly.
is Cole Kelly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll agree.
Right now, they both played about the same.
And the thing about Cole is I've read enough on his Twitter to see that he wants to be that guy. He wants to be a leader. Like, he wants it. I mean, he's not shying away. And let me be fair. I don't know if Ty Story has Twitter, and I don't follow Ty Story. I'm not saying Ty's not.
You're commenting on what you know.
Exactly. I'm not going to make something up and like, Ty wants to be a leader. How do you know that?
Yeah.
Like, I just see it in Cole Kelly and, like, getting ready for this season. Like his attitude. There's something about the dude I like, even though I don't know how good of a quarterback he is. He had his offseason mistake, and Cole, don't do that again, Cole. But yeah, I think Cole should be the guy going forward because Ty didn't do anything in that game to prove otherwise. And I know we all said Ty should start this game, but I never said Ty should be the starter for the rest of the year.
Yeah, no. Maybe.
But I think by the time we get to the SEC, we need to have a starting quarterback.
I don't think it's going to be Cole Kelly.
Yeah, I think it'll be Cole Kelly, actually, because that's all I asked for was give us a chance to see what Ty can do.
Oh, absolutely. In these two games, that's why I'm not too upset that it happened in the first two games. I mean, my bigger point earlier was I don't want to see this all season. I get why we did it. Y'all explained good reasons about it being planned. Information is power. So I didn't know that they had planned that. So cool. Like, I understand that. And like I said, I'm not... Unless Chad Morris comes up with a game plan that says we're going to block with 4 offensive linemen and play 10 guys on defense, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because I don't don't coach football. And 2, like, I've seen his track record. So I'm going to give him a chance to, and this is the biggest conference he's been a head coach in.
Absolutely.
So he had to step up. Now, he's been an offensive coordinator, but he ran the offense. Now it's, hey, you're in charge of an entire program. And he's getting all the outside of football stuff right. So I'm going to give him time. Yeah, I didn't see the game, but on 4th and inches, you should probably run there. And I would like to hear him explain that, but I'm not going to lose my mind and say I should fire the coach because of that. He can't coach.
No.
People were telling me this. It's legitimately human beings in person at drill were telling me this, and I'm like, calm down.
In my honest opinion, yes, I would like for him to go there, but the percentages you play, it makes more sense to punt it.
Where were they at on the field?
Midfield.
Okay.
Because, say you go for it. Say you go for it, and you don't make it. Now you put your defense in a terrible situation.
And honestly, I would rather punt from the 50 because that gives me a chance to pin them deep, and now they have longer to go. And they had the lead, right?
Yeah, we were up. We were up. I think at that point it was 27 to. I want to say it was. They had just scored their touchdown, so I want to say it was 27-17 or something. 27-16, 1 or 2. I don't remember which one.
So we had like a 10-point lead, and you're saying, hey, make them drive down the field and beat us. I don't have a problem with that.
Me either. I mean, I can understand why.
It's 50-50 for me. Like if you go for it and you don't make it, I'm like, okay. But remember, USC did the same exact thing against the University of Texas and ended up biting them in the butt. Long term. Now I know we always talk about that, but about how like one player doesn't change a game. But still, because if we'd have gone for it and didn't get it, they would have been like, oh man, we should have probably punted there. Oh man, our running backs are trash. Even though Devin Wall, like, you coaches have to understand. Urlacher said it best. I've never gave a damn about what the fans think. And what he was saying was, when it comes to how this team and how the plays are called, I don't care. He doesn't say. Urlacher didn't say, well, screw the fans. I don't like the fans. What he was saying is, when it comes to play calling and that, there's a reason that you're fans and there's a reason that we play and coach.
Exactly.
Now, we're free to critique people and all that, but we're fans. I've never and never will be a football coach. Now, I have eyeballs, and I can tell you what my eyes see, which of the Colorado State game was nothing, because didn't see the game.
The only thing The only thing that I can say, as far as that game goes, like, is the despair. Is the actual surprise of the level, or not level of, the amount of snaps, that difference between the running backs. Because like we said the other day, you can only run the ball so much with 3 to 4 different guys that you have back there. But I was just kind of surprised that, I know Devwall had the hot hand, but I'm surprised that he got as many carries as he did, because he had 26 carries in that game.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
That's an average workload.
I mean, I'm just saying, considering how many we have back there and how many we have to utilize.
It doesn't matter. You could have 4 quarterbacks that are 4 stars. You're not going to rotate quarterbacks because you need all 4 of them to play.
Right.
You're going to stick with whoever has a hot hand, and Devwall was running down their throat. I'm not taking Devwall out the game.
Right.
Unless you're tired, you're staying in because you're churning.
Right. If he's having that game, I know we have the other running backs, but
it's not like nobody else did bad. I mean, the only other running backs that really played were Chase Hayden and Rakeem Boyd, and they both played good for the amount of snaps.
But then you got to think T.J. Hammond had 1 carry for 64 yards. That counts as a reception. So there's that too.
Yeah.
So you want your starting running back to run the ball 20 to 25 times, and then you want the other guys to run it between 6 and 10 at the most.
I mean, we agreed before the season even started anyway that Devwall was going to be the guy.
Yeah.
Rakeem Boyd and Hayden are going to have plenty of opportunities once Devwall's gone.
Absolutely. And it's not like they did bad, because, like I said, you had Devwall that ran 26 times for $165 and 6.3 yards per carry. You had Boyd, who only had 7 carries, but had 67 yards at 9.6 a carry.
He was gashing them bad because he's a little quicker and can hit the hole a lot faster. So
then you had Chase Hayden. He had 11 for 55 at 5 yards per carry.
Yeah, so he had 11 carries for the second running back. So I don't see what your problem is about you.
No, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying I was just kind of surprised it was the number for Devwall was so high.
I think
because if you have a number 1 running back, you don't want to have a 1A, 1B, 1C running back
right.
Like you can have a 2 running back system like they do, but really we don't. We have a starting running back with some other dudes that are really good.
Yeah.
Like none of those dudes are good enough to be our everyday running back. So yeah, Devwall's going to get 27 if we're running the ball, depending on what the defense gives them, and then the other guys are going to just have to split the carries how it works out. That's running backs. Like no one runs 2 running back systems in college anymore, and if they do, it's probably a trick play. Or I mean, they even rarely use fullbacks anymore.
Yeah.
All right.
But
Alabama does, but Alabama's Alabama, and you can't compare them to anybody.
I will say one thing, though. You could tell in the 4th quarter that everybody's getting tired. And the fact that, you know how many offensive snaps we had in the 4th quarter? 8. It doesn't matter what happens. The defense wore down. Mm-hmm. Didn't have a pass rush because they had been out there way too long. And that, like we always said, that eventually happened. And sometimes the defense is out there so much that the offense loses a rhythm. And that's kind of what happened.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this. Go back to... Forget the punt play. This punt doesn't even matter on 4th and 1. If Jordan Jones is 6 inches further inside, catches that, you're up 34-9. All mental doubt is gone for that team.
Yeah. Had they scored on that touchdown... Okay, so walk me through the sequence of events. What happened? They said 6 inches.
When he threw it, Jordan went up, and when he came down, both toes hit at the exact same time. One was in, one was out.
That was that play I told you.
Okay, but that was on 3rd down?
I don't remember what down it was.
That was that.
But that was the drive that we punted it on with like 4.
No. It was it was a drive. The 4th and 1 happened later. But if you're up 34-9, that punt doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because if you go up 34-9, everybody's filing out the stadium. The team that wasn't supposed to be in the game is already checked out.
Right. No, I'm with you.
I will say one thing though about even though we.
You have Will said one thing.
That's his intro for everything.
The thing is, between we're 1-1, but one guy that's played really well for us this year, all in both games, in my opinion, is Petway. Petway's played really well in both games.
Yeah.
I mean, Jordan had an amazing first game, but Petway's came to play both games.
Yeah.
Even with the quarterback struggles, he's came to play.
Yeah, I will tell you this. The next 3 weeks after North Texas is going to be not fun.
No, it's not.
A&M just proved that this week. I thought that was a toss-up game. That's not a toss-up game anymore.
Oh, no.
No, that's done.
I'm not trying to be a downer. Like I told somebody on Twitter, do I want us to go undefeated, and will I root for that hard? Absolutely. Do I think it's going to happen? Absolutely not.
Yeah, we're not being negative. We're being real. Like,
there's a difference.
And after what I've seen out of LSU, too, I'm not so sure that that's going to be a win either now.
I didn't think it was going to be a win. I thought it'd be a good game.
Ole Miss. Definitely not Ole Miss. Have
Their
you seen Ole Miss?
offense.
Their offense is nasty. Like,
But
the thing is with Ole Miss, I think we'll be able to put some yards and points up against them.
we better hope we
they
beat
still have a terrible defense.
We better hope we can beat
They still
North Texas and Vandy.
Who did Ole Miss play this week? They
Southern Illinois.
Yeah, they gave up 40-something points to Southern Illinois.
Like 30-something in the first half.
Southern Illinois was ranked a couple years ago, though. Remember that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
yeah.
people are like, oh, they put up 70 points. Yeah, but they also gave up 40-something. But
Even
yeah,
when we lost to Toledo, we didn't give up 40.
But that's all you can beat the drum into about this game. I think it's time we take a break and come back and talk about North Texas a little more.
Absolutely. We'll break down North Texas next break. Or out the break. We'll be right back on Talking Hogs Live with the Rehab Sports Guys.
Live on 12 Ounce Sports Radio and 12ouncesportsradio.com.